So this comment is a second comment in a thread where this person is asking, do you really need to use a Dutch oven to bake crispy artisan style bread like I'm doing in this video? If you're new here, hey, I'm Baker Betty. I'm a baking educator, and this is a great point because you often see large bakeries using big ovens. They're obviously not baking their bread in a bunch of little pots, but they have one thing that most home bakers don't have. They typically are baking in an oven that has steam injectors in it. I have one here at my baking school here in Chicago. When we bake a bunch of loaves of bread, we put them straight into the oven, and then I can inject steam into the oven, decide how long the steam is in the oven, how much steam is in the oven, so that I can get a great rise on my bread. When you're baking a crispy artisan style bread, there are a couple things that are going to help you achieve your desired result. And one of the main things is steam during the beginning part of the baking process. We want the outside of the dough to stay nice and moist so that it can continue expanding in the oven as it starts baking. You're going to get something called oven spring, which is kind of the last final burst of activity that your yeast is going to give you before it starts dying off. And if we don't have that moist environment, the dough is going to set really quickly. The outside of the crust is going to harden and it can't fully expand and get the full oven spring. So having that steamy environment is really going to help you get the fullest rise out of your dough. So what home bakers have started doing, and I wouldn't say this is a new craze, it's been around for probably, 30 years or so. I mean, people were probably doing it before that, but Jim Lahey really popularized this with his no-knead bread recipe. This is a way, a Dutch oven with the lid on it is a way to mimic this environment. The lid is going to hold all the moisture that's already in the loaf in the pot instead of letting it dissipate in the oven. And it's going to keep the crust nice and moist so that it can get a full rise. Of course, there are other methods you could use. There are some people who will preheat a baking stone and then preheat a roasting pan or something in the bottom of their oven and put water in that and let that be the steamy environment in the beginning. I find that for a home baker, a Dutch oven or some kind of pot, it doesn't even have to be a Dutch oven, just some kind of enclosed pot is just the easiest way to achieve this result. You just put the bread in the pot. You don't have to manage heating that pan up, adding the water in, being careful that it doesn't splash on your glass, because I have seen it where somebody has splashed water on their glass and it has shattered the glass of their oven. And you only want steam in the beginning. So if you do it this way, you've got to pull the steam out partway through. A Dutch oven or some kind of enclosed pot is very simple to just pull a lid off when you're ready to release the steam. So I personally use a preheated pot. I think it's the best way to get somebody who is new to baking bread to get to the results that you're looking for. But of course, you don't have to. There are other ways. You could even just put the bread right in the oven on a sheet pan and not worry about the steam at all. You're just not going to get as big of a rise. You're also not going to get as thin and crackly of a crust.